Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation here. It is Wednesday, January the 31st, and it's the feast of St. John Bosco, who is the founder of the Salesians. From the first reading, 2 Samuel chapter 24. Okay, so David now makes he sins once, he sins again, and we see the consequences of a leader sinning. King David said to Joab and the commanders of the army who were with him, "Go through all the tribes of Israel from Dan to Beersheba and make a census of the people so that I may know how many there are." Joab opposes this, but David overrides him, so they obey the king. But afterwards David was stricken to the heart because he had numbered the people. And then there's a grave consequence as a result of this. Now, this stuff is mysterious, like, why would God cause this to happen? Why would the people suffer because of the leader? Well, I don't fully understand this, but what I do understand is family. And everybody understands family in some way because we all are part of a family, even if you're an only child. And with family, we actually, suffer the consequences of our parents' bad decisions, and we benefit from the consequences of our parents' good decisions to some degree or another, and we all affect each other in negative and positive ways, our siblings and so on. That's the nature of family, right? And there's something about that here, is that the spiritual father of this family, King David, has sinned against the Lord, and there's a grave consequence to this, and the children suffer. We say, well, it's not their fault. Yeah, but it's not my fault if my parents squandered all their money and I'm born in abject poverty. It's not my fault, but I suffer the consequences of it, right? So I don't completely understand what's going on here, but there's something in what I've just said that I think can help you to understand. So, but what's based on what I've read, is David is doing this census for the purposes of war and taxation. And it's basically he wanted to control the situation. God is always taking care of his people. Remember, God didn't want the king. The people demanded the king, right? God said, "I will take care of my people" to Samuel, and they have basically slapped me in the face. They've rejected me because they want to be like the other nations. And this is what happens, you see, that we start relying upon each other to the exclusion, and we exclude God from the scenario. And so there are grave consequences to this. And we see it, it will ultimately result in David being a more conscientious leader, a good father, realizing that his children will suffer because of his sinfulness. It will not end, though. There's other sins to be committed in the future. But it's something for all of us to think about. Okay, so over to the Gospel, Matthew chapter 6. So Jesus came to his hometown, and his disciples followed him. On the Sabbath he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astounded. They said, "Where did the man get all this? What is this wisdom that has been given to him? What deeds of power?" And they took offense at him. They're jealous, right? They're jealous, pure and simple. They're jealous. They're not wondering, they're jealous, and perhaps even envious. Then Jesus said to them, "Prophets are not without honor except in their own hometown and among their own kin and their own house." And he could do no deed of power there except that he laid his hands on a few sick people and cured them. And he was amazed at their unbelief. Jealousy, which can then go to envy. They can seek to destroy what they can't have. So sometimes this happens. A prophet is not without honor except in his own country. So on the one hand, we are obligated to try and be good examples to our family members. But we all know, even if you're an only child, that's a different dynamic. But if there's more than one in the family, you have to be very careful in how you relate to siblings, because they know you and you know them. Usually know each other's buttons to push. And they see us as, for the most part, as we are, because we grew up with each other. So whether you're a priest or you become a CEO or you're just, a teacher, or you have lots of respect or prestige or whatever, just all sorts of things. We have to, on the one hand, really strive to be good examples, to our siblings. And who knows what, for example, if your siblings are not practicing the faith, you can't go preach to them. You can't be, Mr. Bible Thumper to them. This is not going to go well. But if you try to be a good example and love them for who they are and not who you want them to be, well, maybe something will open in their heart and God's grace can enter their heart. Maybe. You could suggest something once in a while, but it has to be done in a very sort of non-threatening, very charitable, very respectful kind of way, in a way that's not in any way meant for a win is not the outcome, but rather the sharing or the witnessing or sharing of stuff is simply that's the outcome. But you're not trying to win anything. So remember this. We have to pray for a lot of prudence in our hometown, amongst our family, amongst our fellow parishioners, and so on. We can do a lot of good, but we can do a lot of damage as well. So let's really ask the Lord to help us do a lot of good. God bless you.